because of you.
Hi there, Cindy Dole, and this is Home Wizards, your radio home for all things home, garden, and life improvement. This is where we love to help you improve your home, and as a result, we hope improve your life. All those spaces you call home, inside and outside. It's a show where we really have fun figuring it all out, all the cool things, the innovative things, what's new, what's a bargain, what's just going on out there to help you feel when you walk in the door, you go, you know what, I've arrived. Life is pretty darn good. I can just relax and say, ah. So coming up on the show, we have a lot of that to look forward to. We're going to head to the garden a little bit later on and discover ways to use the plants that you may be growing. Hopefully by now you're growing some California natives in a container or in the ground. But wait till you hear how you can then turn them into tasty vinegars. Oh my gosh, like really great berry vinegars that you're growing in your own garden. And so we're going to find out from this expert on that. Then later on, too, we're going to talk with this wonderful designer about guest rooms, some terrific ideas, because before you know it, the holidays are going to be here. How to have that sense of luxury to entertain those who are family and friends who are going to be staying out at your place. What are some of the unusual and interesting things to do for them? All that and more. And then also we're going to find out about insulation that can help not only to keep your home cool or keep it hot, but pest-free. Wait to hear about this new product that I discovered. We're going to find out what that is all about. All that and more to look forward to. The number is 888-539-2980, 888-539-2980. And remember, too, as you're listening to the show, and you go, gosh darn it, I wish I could have heard that one thing again, you can. You just go back to the website, cindydole.com. You click on the on-air section, and all the shows are there, and we put them up on Monday, and you can then just listen to them there through your computer, or you can even take them with you on your iPhone or your Android, because we have an app there on the home page, so check it out. All right, so all that and more. But first, what about color? How to use it in your home or outside your home where you live? For me, personal story, it all started a few years back when we really went from all white walls to peapod green in our home office, and it really is still a very pretty, fresh. Peapod doesn't give it justice. It's prettier than, it's not like pea soup, but it's a very pretty, citrusy kind of a shade. And then that just opened up a can of worms, because before you know it, we were painting every wall in our home, and to this day we have probably 5 different colors, I think, throughout the home at least. So the bottom line is, how do you get past that scary feeling of color? Whether it's paint, because, paint is the least scary, but there's other things, right? Let's talk about color right now.
See your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love.
So when you think about bringing color to your home, to your life, there's a psychology to it, and with me is a woman who's studied about it. She studied art and color,
Yes.
and now she's a great designer. You probably have seen her work at the Pasadena Showcase House or all over the world. She is Kristi Nelson, and you have KM Nelson Design.
Yes, I do.
So great to have you here.
Thank
Wearing
you.
a vivacious green colored shirt. Beautiful, almost an emerald color.
It is almost emerald.
It's
yes.
very pretty.
Thank you.
And so color, I guess when you put that shirt on, it makes you feel a certain way, doesn't it?
It does. Color, I think, for everybody, it's very psychological, obviously. It really makes us feel good. We don't walk around in a, blank canvas of a world. And, you think about how a rainy day makes you feel. It might make you want to go sit in front of the fire and be cozy. It may make you want to just stay in bed.
It pulls me down. I'm like, ugh, I need to have sunlight.
Exactly, me too. And, so same thing, bright sunny day, sunshine. It's just, my eyes are open, I'm ready to go. And, I think that we all need to bring that into our homes, not just sort of enjoy it, in the greater sort of scheme of things in the world, but really bring it into your home and use that, that mood enhancement to, make the most of your environment.
Wait a minute. Mood enhancement? Are you saying the color's a drug? Wait a minute. I said it. You didn't. But it sounds like it almost could be mood altering. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
And if you get into the psychology of it, if we're kind of feeling down in the dumps when we walk into our home, maybe we need a little oomph in the terms of color.
Absolutely. There are tons of, obviously, psychological testing that's been done that really do show how specific color is to, to our energy, to our perceptions, to our emotions and all that. There's a reason why, for a long time, everyone wanted a red dining room. It's just psychologically red, yellow, they're stimulants. And, it stimulates appetite. It causes an energetic reaction. They just they up the ante in terms of energy. There's a reason why hospitals are painted, soft shades of whether it's green or blue.
Putrid.
Or putrid.
It makes you want to throw up. Why is that? Why don't they have cheerful colored hospitals?
Well, it's because,
although the hospital attire has gotten more cheerful. All the nurses are wearing these,
gotten much better, right. But, it's still, you want a calming, soothing environment. So they don't want to have, you don't want patients wanting to go leaping out of bed when they need to be, in bed recuperating.
True.
So there's kind of a lot of that. You want to have a very stable emotional environment, which is what those colors are about. So, you kind of think about when you start to look around in the different places you are, what your reaction is to a color. How does something make you feel? My living room is truly sunshine yellow. I want to walk in and I want to just feel that warmth and that happiness. I wouldn't necessarily do that in, a room where I wanted to relax.
So it wouldn't be in your bedroom for you?
It would not be in my bedroom.
Because for you wouldn't feel sleepy, maybe.
Correct, exactly. But on the flip side, my son, who's 13 or almost 13, wants to redo his bedroom. And he was very specific that he wants it to be gray, but he wants neon orange and screaming yellow in it. So, sort of how do you kind of incorporate those things and make them work? So they can, color doesn't have to be limited to any single place. It's sort of how you use it and the impact you want to get from it.
Mm-hmm.
So, in his case, the walls are going to be gray. The room has south and west exposure, so it's a lot of really strong, hot sun. So, the gray is going to cool it down, and yet, he's going to be a teenager, and he's going to be in there doing things. So we kind of want that energy and that fun and, place where he's going to go hang with his friends. And so, sure.
And it's a chance for him to express himself,
Absolutely.
right? It's good to have that, especially as a kid, and really for your entire life, I think, to express yourself in your home.
Right, and start to learn how to, enjoy.
But how do you express yourself?
Right.
That's the thing, is a lot of people, I think, get stuck, and maybe color petrifies us, right?
Yes.
And but if we can somehow figure out what turns us on,
right,
in terms of the color that makes us happy, we can kind of get unstuck, maybe.
Absolutely. And
so how do we get inside ourselves and know the color? I mean, where do we start?
Right. Obviously they're really simple places to start. Your wardrobe, what colors do you wear? But then that only works if, you're not wearing just black or white.
Well, I was going to say in LA, it's
right.
a lot of black and white in LA.
Just sort of looking around, what colors make you happy? Like I said, do you like being in the sunshine? Is it yellow that does something for you, or is it the shade of the sky when the sun's in it? There's a strong blue that, in the middle of the day, in the afternoon, that's crisp and beautiful and clear, or there are blues that are, have so much green in them, sort of a turquoise shade. What kind of jewelry do you like, or what kind of stones do you like? What foods do you like? Do you like spicy foods? Do you like foods that are, much more mild? Are you a vegetable eater? Look at those things.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're a vegetable eater, then what kind of color should you go for?
Well, who knows? Maybe you love eggplant, right? The skin of eggplant is a beautiful, beautiful shade of, purpley brown. And people will sort of have, let's say, reactions to colors that I had a client who was very specific. They didn't want purple, anything. And yet I found a shade of brown with a lot of purple in it. So it was almost eggplant that we put in their foyer, and the whole house just came to life by doing that. And never would have thought it. And if I had said, let's do eggplant, it would have been rejected out of the box. But because I presented it as brown that had a lot of red underneath it that pulled towards that color.
You're kind of a marketing spinmeister is what you are.
Well,
you manipulator.
Exactly. How do I get what I want? No, it's kind of, as you start to talk to people, you realize that they are drawn to certain things. And, you kind of start to push that. Maybe somebody loves red wine. Well, red wine comes in a variety of shades, from deep, deep purple to a garnet, and put those out in front of somebody. So which one do you prefer? What is it about that? Is it the saturation of the Zinfandel and that deep, almost opaque kind of color, or is it the translucency of that, very soft Pinot Noir,
Well, hold that thought. When we come back, we're going to get more into the psychology of color as we talk with Kristi Nelson, who's a great designer who's going to help us kind of get into our head and figure out a way to really liven up our homes with color. You're listening to Home Wizard Cindy Dole. Maybe you'd like to call on in. You certainly can. The number is 888-539-2980. 888-539-2980. The fun continues right after this. As I reflect, I think my childhood bedroom was bright pink and lime green. Well, not the walls. The walls were white. The whole house was pretty much white or creamy walls, but I remember my bedspread that I got to pick was bright pink and that lime green, and that kind of looks refreshing, And then I remember, too, then growing up with these white walls, having such a great backyard with a pool, bright blue, and the nature, and I think to this day I've been influenced by wanting to bring the outside in. So that's my color psychology. With me, Kristi Nelson, a designer who's going to help us bring color into our world. Listening to Home Wizards, Cindy Dole here. And so you had a pink and green bedspread too.
I had a pink and green room, and I also was not allowed to paint the walls of my room.
I mean, it wasn't like, no, don't. I mean, I really didn't think about painting the walls at the time. I just wanted to rearrange the furniture.
Right, exactly. I just wanted to have some control. I didn't care how much what it was.
But you had pink and green bedspread.
I actually had a pink bedspread, which I was not such a fan of, but I got to at least have green curtains on my walls, and I think I had to choose to have green carpet. If I could get green in there, I got green in there.
And to this day, you're wearing green.
And to this day, green's one of my favorite colors. And
but
it's
there's
nature, too.
It feels grounding, and in our home office with that green, I love that. And it's amazing how it can feel different for different people, too.
Absolutely.
Because of your memories, what you grew up with, perhaps, right?
It's funny because I think green is a color that people respond to almost across the board in a positive fashion. It may not be their favorite color. And for instance, I did the Pasadena showcase this year, and the bedroom suite that I did, I chose to use green, and it was a very strong green. It was basically the color of a Granny Smith apple. And
Yum.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
very citrusy.
It was very citrusy, very clear, very true kind of green with, a lot of yellow in it.
That's popular in fashion today.
It is. Yeah. People sort of will be thrown by a very strong color, and, most people are very afraid to kind of throw that on their walls. And yet when they see it and see how, I guess, refreshing a color can be used when it's used correctly, it's very inspiring and very exciting. The number of people who walked through that room and said, oh my God, I never would have chosen this, and yet I love it, and wanted the name of the color and couldn't wait to go home and try it. It was just, it's fun. It's exciting for me because it means it's really connecting, things for people that, gives them a launching board.
Yeah, you're getting us unstuck again.
Yes.
Because, you're opening up our eyes to possibilities.
Exactly.
Well, so if we were to pick that beautiful citrusy green color for our walls, that's kind of tricky then to connect throughout the house, isn't it? Because that becomes a whole other can of worms. Well, now what am I going to do? I have this great room that really celebrates me, but then wait, I got to get these other rooms connected.
Right. If the exciting thing about color is that there are so many ways to use it and to carry a thread throughout your home without it being a big dominant theme. I mean, that could be the only green room in the house. But, if you've got maybe some pillows or some accessories in other rooms, it unites it still. It carries that thread, but it doesn't have to be a major player everywhere else, and when you're playing with color and using color throughout your home, you kind of remember that. You want to have a couple of colors that really stay throughout the whole house.
Kind of the grounding.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost like the classic black dress or whatever it is.
A bit like
you want to have your essentials or your fundamental.
Right, exactly. And, as long as you kind of keep that thread going, it doesn't matter how much or how little of it there is anywhere else. So in the room that I did, I actually used fuchsia with it. I used white to offset it in this case because then it was very graphic. And black. Black helps to tie so many things together and right so many wrongs.
Talk about, this is your secret. You like to have black in every room.
I do.
But you don't mean black paint necessarily.
No.
You mean black something.
Black something. It could be a black piece of furniture. It could be
like a beautiful high gloss black piece of furniture.
Exactly. Or it could be something, very matte black. I mean, it could be maybe, a little it could be a stack of black books that you use to kind of set other pieces, other accessories on, you know. It could be
a vase.
It could be a vase. And now, one way to use black that most people don't think of, and it's highly effective, is rather than painting out, if you've got windows with dividers, mullioned windows, rather than painting them white, which is very pretty, paint them black or paint them a very dark color, because what happens is you suddenly start to see the view versus seeing the white mullions. Because if you think about when you're looking out a window, how intense especially on a sunny day, how intense the light is outside, the glass almost has kind of a black cast to it. And so if you paint your mullions out black, then you're not looking at the mullions, you're looking straight through to the view. When they're white, you see that white. White always is going to stand out. So there are ways to use black that really can downplay flaws in things, that can, cause things to recede that other colors don't.
So you can have them as an accent to either stress something or downplay something.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very cool. I never thought of that. I love that idea. And I always love front doors that are painted black.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love that classic look? It's
Exactly.
rich, it's beautiful.
I mean, high gloss black and have, whether it's a silver or gold hardware on there, it just pops. It's graphic. Yeah, it's just exciting.
And it seems to flow. I mean, the black color doesn't seem to feel like it's tied to any particular design style.
Right.
It isn't necessarily always modern. It could be classic. It could be anything.
It is a truly timeless color.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that was a great tip.
Thank you.
What do you think is the hardest color to work with in terms of not only making it flow throughout a home, but also making sure that it looks as good as you thought it looked in the store, or that chip that you got for paint, or whatever it is? I was thinking maybe red is the hardest, but what do you think is the most difficult?
Red's actually easy. Red almost is like black in that it allows you to have a punctuation mark. Orange is incredibly hard, because there's so many variations of it, from, a burnt orange with a lot of brown into it to a very clear neon orange. And it doesn't play well with other kids. It's kind of it can be the bully on the playground, so to speak. So you have to really, if you're using something like orange or a chartreuse green, something that's a real screaming color, you have to be very careful about how you use it, the amount of it you use, and what colors you're putting with it.
I'm going to have to show you pictures of our kitchen, which, by the way, we're going to be remodeling in the coming months, that we're going to tell about here on the radio, but it's orange. It's terracotta orange. We painted the cabinets that color, and at the time it felt like it was kind of a fun thing to do, and when other people come over, they go, wow. That's it's kind of orange. I mean, it's not like neon orange. I still love it because I feel like when I'm in the kitchen cooking, it gives me that energized feeling. You're there, you're chopping, you're cooking, you're in the moment, you got the music on, and I think for a kitchen you want to have that feeling too, whatever that color, whatever that speaks to you.
Right. But orange has very specific, I think, memories for people and associations, like orange and black are Halloween. Orange, red, and yellow are Southwestern. It's just
true.
It can really
stereotype.
Yes, it can stereotype. It can really make a statement that you may or may not be trying to make. That's why it can be very hard, very challenging.
Right.
It's a bit
like red and green, you're thinking Christmas, or pink and red, you're thinking Valentine's. So you have to be careful because, again, you want us to be timeless, it sounds like, right?
Exactly. It can be modern, it can be traditional, but timeless is the key, because color combinations, the classic sort of peach and turquoise of the 80s. You have that date, and those are timeless colors, but how they're used is what really, can date something or make it fantastic forever.
So if you could, with your magical wand, kind of wave it across Southern California for those of us listening today, wanting to do something fabulous and colorful to our world, what would you say? Just do this. Do it now.
I would say one really fun thing to do is just to go buy a bunch of huge canvases from your local art store and just paint them one single color, say 3 of them, and find a wall to hang them on. And they will add a punch of color and be so graphic in such a fun way. And you can change them out, and it will change the color and change the mood of your room immediately. And it's simple.
Awesome. Your website is kmnelsondesign.com.
Yes.
Right? You have great pictures, and we have the link on our site. And fun having you, Kristi Nelson.
Thank you very much.
I love your ideas with the black and on the windows, on the mullions of the windows, and I am going to try all of it. All right, well, coming up next, we're going to switch gears. We're going to head outside. Are you a gardener at all? We're going to talk about native plants and how to not only grow them, but then bring them into your kitchen and have your own great flavored vinegars. How cool is that? It's California style. Home wizard Cindy Dole here in KFWB News Talk 980.